right, so Ilia Topuria could become the first ever UFC 3-weight division champion.
3-weight world champion. This is my goal.
That's a bold shout, and that's a crazy shout. And there's a lot of stuff that needs to happen before this falls into place and becomes a reality, but it just might happen. How do we get there? Well, first of all, Islam Makhachev's moved up to 170. We know that. Let's just imagine that he becomes the champion. Let's imagine he beats Jack Della Maddalena, which isn't guaranteed, okay? But let's imagine that world, and let's imagine that Ilia Topuria defeats Charles Oliveira. Now, I would say there's a very good chance of that happening because Charles Oliveira is awesome. He's great. He's entertaining. He's wild. He's exciting. He's very effective. He's got great jiu-jitsu, but he takes a lot of risks, okay? He goes forward. He's kind of reckless, okay? And that's why we love him, and that's why he's so exciting, and that's why he's had so many finishes. But he does leave a lot of openings, and there's one thing about Ilia Topuria. The man is calculated, okay? He doesn't take risks. He takes his time. He sets things up. He looks for openings, and boom. And then when it's time to explode, he gets the finish. He has the power. And at 155 pounds, the power is going to be even more increased. It's just a fact. He's going to be stronger. He's not going to have those weight cuts. He's going to be a better athlete all round, okay? So let's just assume that he beats Charles Oliveira, okay? Now he's the lightweight champion of the world. He's become a 2-weight division champ. As I said, we assume that Islam beats Jack Della Maddalena. That is not a given, okay? And by the way, there is going to be other people that want to fight Ilia Topuria. Paddy Pimblett is calling him out. You know, and this goes back a couple of years now. Paddy Pimblett calling him water bottle boy and all this type of shit. Hand sanitizer boy, whatever it was, okay?
You know, when I saw him last time, he got a hand sanitizer bottle bounced off his foot.
I don't understand you or anything. Back in the flouty mouthy, like what?
Hand sanitizer boy!
He's talking a lot of shit about him, and Ilia Topuria is even answering back and seems interested in the Paddy Pimblett fight.
Once I pass him, I get the title, and you put me against Paddy. Because I think that he's gonna...
You think Paddy's gonna beat Justin Gaethje?
Easy.
Wow.
Paddy, by the way, is calling out Justin Gaethje, which I really respect. Fair play to Paddy Pimblett.
I know for the fact that if I beat Gaethje, I'm next in line, definitely.
Do you think that's the next fight for you?
It could be, yeah. It's just if he says yeah or not, isn't it?
Who would have thought he'd be calling out Justin Gaethje a year ago? And if he gets through Justin Gaethje, he deserves a title fight. That's just a fact, right? But if Islam beats Jack Della Maddalena, right, we know this fight's going to happen. Islam versus Topuria, these two are destined to meet. The only way it doesn't is if, according to Ilia, he continues to duck him, just like John Jones is ducking Tom Aspinall, okay? Right? That would be the only way, because Ilia wants to fight him. Islam is around the same weight. And if Islam goes up to 170 and he becomes the champ, Ilia Topuria is going to say, I want to go up to 170. And I'm telling you, given the star power that Ilia Topuria has, there's a really good chance that the UFC make that matchup. And guess what? If Islam doesn't win and he wants to come back down to 155, Ilia Topuria has already said he's not going to give him a title fight straight away. And you can't blame him. Fair play. I mean, listen, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. You want to make me wait because I don't deserve a title fight at 155 pounds because I haven't won a fight there? Well, guess what? You're coming off a loss. So when you come back to 155, you've got to win a fight or two first, right? As I said, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. I knew Ilia Topuria would say that, and that's the way it's shaping out.
Entonces, después de este combate, una vez yo tenga el cinturón, después...
But if he does become the champ at 170 pounds, which won't be easy, by the way, it will not be easy because Jack Della Maddalena just beat Belal Muhammad. I've spoken about this a few times. Of course, there is definite similarities between Belal and Islam's style, even though Islam's probably more refined. There's definite similarities, and it's the perfect warm-up match for Jack Della Maddalena. But regardless of whoever wins out of that matchup, look at the welterweight division right now. The welterweight division is what the lightweight division was 2 years ago. Of course, we've got the new champ, Jack Della Maddalena, who's just doing tremendous things. I said 2 years ago, I was talking to him on an open top bus. I said, you're going to be the champ. Hey, Adam, you get a picture of us? You're going to be the champ. Not saying my name is Nostradamus. I'm not calling myself Mystic Mike. I'm just saying the man had champion written all over him. And now he's the champ. We've got Belal Muhammad at number 1. Sean Brady, okay, is right there at number 2. Shavkat Rakhmonov He's the next number one contender. He beat Ian Gary in a legitimate number one contender matchup. So he's out there. He's roaming around the mountains of Kazakhstan right now saying, where the is my title shot? Okay, granted he had an injury, but sure, he's going to be back soon. Leon Edwards lost his last two to Sean Brady and Bilal Muhammad, but he's still ranked number 4. Kamaru Usman's going up against Joaquin Buckley. Either one of those guys, they're going to want a title fight. We've got Ian Machado Gary, that was just a backup fighter as well. What I'm saying is, regardless of who wins between Jack and Islam, okay, there is a long list of viable and worthy contenders at 170 pounds. Granted, if Ilia becomes the champion, if he beats Charles, and if Islam becomes the champ, there is a pathway for Ilia Topuria becoming a 3-weight division champion, which would just be insane. He would have to abandon 155 pounds the same way that he vacated 145. There's no way they're doing double champs anymore, and they certainly ain't going to do a 3-weight simultaneous champ. That just fucks the game up for everyone. But if he vacated and came to 170, great. You know, this is like dream stuff now and a lot of if, but, and maybes. But it's possible. But I'm just saying the number one barrier, I don't know, it's the number one barrier to Ilia becoming a 3-weight division champion isn't so much Islam Makhachev. It's all the killers at 170 pounds. He's already become a 1-weight champ, a 2-weight champ. I favour him to beat Charles Oliveira, so let's just assume that's done. And you know, 2 defences, 3 defenses, he's probably going to move up again, okay? Which is crazy, okay? All this moving around and jumping up a weight class, I know it's sexy and people want to talk about it and they can market it as champion versus champion. Stay in your weight class and beat everybody. Simple as that. At lightweight, Islam's still got work to do there. There's Ahmed Sarukian. There's Justin Gaethje. There's Mateusz Gamrot. There's Paddy Pimblett, for crying out loud, okay? Everyone's just jumping around. Stay in your weight class and defend against all of the contenders. That's what people need to do. That's what fighters used to do. That's what Anderson Silva did. That's what George St. Pierre did. That's what Alejandro Pantoja is doing right now. But still, for the sake of some content and for the sake of dreaming big, it's El Matador. That's what he wants to do, and he gives us something to talk about. And you know what? It makes it bloody exciting. But in the welterweight division, Michael Morales, we didn't even mention him. There's Carlos Pratis as well. You got Jeff Neal and Colby Covington. They're kind of old school, and Stephen Thompson. But the new generation of welterweights that are coming through, as I say, Carlos Pratis, Michael Morales, Joaquin Buckley. He's not new, but he's been around for a bit. Of course, there's Shavkat Rakhmonov, Sean Brady, and Jack Della Maddalena. 170 just became the glamour division of the entire UFC. It is by far, right now, the most stacked. Anyway, what do you think? Am I talking out of my ass? Will Ilia Topuria ever become a 3-weight division champion? Will Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria ever fight? I say they do. That fight absolutely has to happen. Anyway, thanks for watching. Subscribe, ring the bell. See you soon.